That's right. It's that Thursday feeling. For all of our video viewers, Nikki's trying to see if the International Space Station can see them all the way from space, wearing the brightest orange shirt I've ever seen in my life. Hey, it's VGB's episode 57. I'm one of your hosts, John Warren. With me is my forever co-host, Nikki Grayson.
Hello, John.
This show and this website is supported by you at home and no one else. We don't take any ad dollars. I don't know any advertisers anymore. I don't know. I don't want them to blow up the phone. The phone get too hot anyway. I just want it to be a cold phone. So if you go to vgbs.com/ they might. If you go to vgbs.com/join, you can join the Hive and support us directly. You missed out on a 40% discount when I turned 40 2 days ago. Where were you? But now you can get on for only $9.99 a month or a yearly plan if you like to pay less. Anyway, I've never done that kind of intro before where I tell you the whole deal before we start, but I feel like it's time to get more professional because we have today on the show a very special guest. It is the EIC of the brand new website, Endless Mode. It is Garrett Martin. Hello, Garrett. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me. How are y'all doing?
We're doing good.
Good.
We are Gucci.
It's so exciting to start a new website. Nikki, what did you, before we talk about that, Nikki, you wanted to tell us maybe about something you did. You throw out your back. You're wearing the brightest colors I've ever seen, which is great. You're trying to move your bed.
Yeah. And that's why I felt like I needed to wear orange.
Because you're like because
I was
worker crew.
Heavy load, you know? So then I was like, I needed to make sure. And then I went to pick up the bed and then it felt like, you know, when you scrunch up an empty plastic water bottle, kind of was like that, but on my lower back is what it felt like.
Cool.
Like that so kind of like tight compression when you step on it.
Okay. Cool. So like kind of what a chiropractor does, but also just like kind of not in a
but not in like accidental positive way. Yeah. So then I immediately said, well, I fell over, obviously, onto the bed. You do a lot. And then I got up and then I said, I'm gonna pretend it didn't happen. And actually
it's working
so far, it's working okay.
That's all right. Garrett, when was the last time you hurt yourself?
Geez, that's a good question. I sprained an ankle in Italy a few years ago. I was walking down a steep hill and I kind of rolled it a little bit. And the last 2 days there, I had to, lay in bed. But it was cool because it helps you get through the airport a lot faster if you're in a wheelchair.
That's true. God, you're so right. That's why I do it. That's for the. It's not just for the love of the game. That's why. It's not just for the love of the game. I get the good parking. I get the cool kitted out vans. I get through the airport faster. I get that fast pass shit because I have the wheelchair and they go, okay. Obviously, Walt would want you to ride the ride first. That's what Walt would want. Gary, you started a new website this week. That's so exciting. You warned me about this a little while ago, and I've been excited ever since. And now it is launched. Please just tell us from the horse's mouth all about Endless Mode, please.
I mean, it's so basically I've been editing the Paste magazine game section since like 2011, and they were looking to get more into the game space and looked at acquiring certain sites or, gradually landed on, hey, let's just start our own new one. And they've spun the game section out into an entire section. An entire site called Endless Mode, and it's all kinds of games, video games, pinball, board games, tabletop RPGs. Anime is a part of it. Theme parks are a part of it because I like them personally. It's games and basically like a place for me and my associate editor, Elijah Gonzalez, to just put our passionate things that we love into. So, yeah.
Which is really ideal when you're starting a website because, it could, but I would have been shocked if I hadn't seen theme parks as part of the endless mode ethos. So I'm very happy that it's there. For those who might not read a ton of paced game coverage before now, which, by the way, you missed out on, and now you're getting to start with endless mode. I just want to say Garrett Martin might be the best eye for talent in the entire games media milieu. I grabbed several people that Garrett did discover, I would say. First, it was a delight to be able to pluck those people out from that website, because there are just so many talented people, and a lot of them are still writing for you. Tell us kind of about, like, I'm just very curious about your kind of history, scouting talent, nurturing younger talent. Speak to that a bit, because I think you do it the best of anybody in the entire industry.
Well, thank you. I'm deeply uncomfortable with praise, but that felt very good. So thank you. I mean, it's not really something like I ever like. There's no like logic to it, or like, mathematical equation. It's just, if I read something, I know it's good. And a lot of young writers have always, reached out to me. I mean, I started like writing in alternative news weeklies. Like, that's what I came up through. And a lot of the people I work with in the earlier days of Pace, like Maddie Myers, I knew her from the Boston Phoenix.
Yep.
And she was my first assistant editor. She's now back writing for Endless Mode right now, which is pretty awesome. But like, that used to be like a good way to find people to write about games. People who wrote for places like that knew how to write, and they maybe didn't ever think about writing about games, because, I mean, historically, like until the last 15, 20 years, I mean, games magazines or games websites, they targeted a pretty specific and a pretty small audience, And a lot of the people who were talented at writing at that point were not part of that audience. And so they never even really considered writing about games. I never really considered writing about games until I started doing it. And so, I used to look through there, like scan, all weeklies, pay attention to people on social media is also a big one. But now, like, once you get a rep for being a home for good new writers, like, people flock to you. They make it easy for you.
Yeah,
it's just a matter
for
of
sure.
reading and
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And there's already some amazing pieces up on Endless Mode. I think the piece about, I think it's Maddie's piece about COVID games is up, which is incredible. What can we expect in the weeks going forward, do you think?
So we have a roster of like regular weekly, I guess you can call them columnists. I mean, they're not going to be branded as columns, but you'll be seeing Maddie every Tuesday. You'll be seeing Moises every Tuesday. We have
the boy.
Yeah, I love him. He was another assistant editor of mine, and it was awesome to see him go to Kotaku, and really terrible to see his turn at Kotaku end so suddenly. Maybe some other news this week will, wind up being good news for him too. But so lots of great writers. You can expect a couple pretty well-known, talented folks popping up every day going forward, and then freelancers, other freelance pieces on top of that. And then Elijah, my associate editor, he and I are the two staffers and the two full-timers, and we'll also be doing writing of our own. He's a great. I know nothing about anime. I am like the pre-anime generation, and he is super into that. And he's a great, astute critic of anime. I guess I don't watch anime, so I don't know. But
I guess that's so true. Who knows, dude?
Who knows? Who
freaking knows with those cartoons? That's what I'm always saying.
Whenever Mike Williams or whoever was going to write about anime for Fanbyte or whatever, we're just like, you could be writing fucking anything.
Yeah, you could say anything. That's
you say anything.
It was the easiest way. Wow, man, we could have said some heinous shit under the guise of we are writing anime reviews on the website. Yeah. We could have said we could have leaked incredibly important information.
We wouldn't have known.
We would have known.
No idea. Yeah,
man.
So.
Yeah, but fortunately, I have someone who's on top of that stuff. He totally knows what's going down.
That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
I am looking right now at the 10 best rides and attractions at Epcot. Nikki, I want to know if you agree with these.
I've never been to Epcot.
You've never been to Epcot? Hold on.
No, I've never been to Disney World. I listen.
Wow, you know Garrett, what? We've talked about that.
I've locked in. I'm a Universal hater.
Okay.
On account of the fact that the park here fucking blows.
Are you in California?
I live in Los Angeles. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
The park here sucks. It was one of the first places I have a distinct memory of crying in public in my whole life. Because when I went, I cried on basically every single ride that I got on. While I was there the first time I went, I was like 6 or 7. Anyway, I'm a Universal hater, but I've watched enough in the last like 2.5 weeks. I've watched enough people telling me about how Epic Universe is good that I'm like, maybe I got to come down to Orlando and go to a Universal park, which is like something I was deeply excited to not do.
Yeah.
If I ever ended up down there.
My advice is to not go to Orlando unless it's between like November and February, because
that's great.
95 degrees, no matter what.
Well, Nikki and I are going in on
what other time of year it is, and it'll be miserable. But Epic Universe is pretty great.
I want to get on the dueling Starlight. What's it called?
Stardust Racers.
That's it. I want to get on that thing so bad, John. There's a yellow track and a green track, John. There's 2 tracks.
Oh, 2 tracks. That's fun.
And they like spin around each other and everything. And it's really cool at night.
That is cool.
I got to get on a roller coaster. I haven't gone on a roller coaster in so long.
We could go to Six Flags next week if you want to. Except it's going to be 98 degrees in Arlington next week.
I'm trying to stay inside, bud.
Yeah, me too.
Another car, another club, another car. That's the plan for us.
That's about it. Well, you also went to Super Nintendo World earlier this year, I believe.
Yeah.
Nikki and I went. It was when was that? Was that a year ago?
Dog, that had to have been 2 calendar years ago.
I
think it was 2023.
That's when it opened.
God, I think you're right.
It was 2023.
Right. So when we went, there was less stuff open, right?
So yes, the one we went to is they're not really going to expand it unless they do some stuff on the back lot.
Okay.
In Orlando,
they
bigger,
do more,
and they have expanded it.
Okay.
Yeah. John, if you've never been to Universal Hollywood, you're going to be shocked that a theme park can be so small. It is like the smallest park ever.
I've been. We used to live very close to it, so we bought the pass. We would always look at the minion that was guarding the whole city,
the freeway,
the freeway, which was like a great comfort to me. I have the Shrek button for my birthday that says my name on it, so we did go with some frequency when you go to Harry Potter World, you could just see the fucking valley of desert from it's just like da, 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 and it's the valley. It's just fucking crazy. That's when they had Garrett, and I don't know if you can corroborate this at all, because when I tell people this, they go, John, you made this up. When you would go to the men's room in the Harry Potter world, Moaning Myrtle would be like, oh, you're pissing in that. Well, she wouldn't say you're pissing, but they're like, oh, what are you doing? While you're like at the urinal, which was crazy to me.
I can see that. Yeah. I don't know. I'm also not a Potter person. I don't know what.
No, me neither.
So I don't remember voices talking to me while going to the bathroom, but
Moaning Myrtle is just the child who is dead. And is a ghost who lives in the bathroom. Now, I saw that film. I never read any of the books. I'm very proud of that in the year of our Lord 2025.
Congratulations, Sean.
Thank you. I'm a gold star Potter hater. But when I went to Universal, like we did the broom ride, which was like not very fun. And then I went to the restroom, and I was just like, I was shocked that there was a ghost child talking to men in this. I thought it was very strange. But yeah, we went to the Mario, and I thought the Mario Kart ride was like the worst thing I've ever done. I hated it.
There's some things about it that I like, but when it comes to like being game.
No, tell me the things that you like.
Yeah, tell me the things that you like. That's a good point.
I like a lot of the physical sets, like a lot of the actual design of the ride, the way it looks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Universal has a weird habit of making really slow rides about properties that are inherently fast.
Right.
Their Fast and Furious ride is a motion sim where you don't move. You sit in a tunnel and they make it feel like things are happening around you. It's so terrible they're getting rid of it and replacing it with a roller coaster now.
Thank God.
But like Mario Kart, you should be moving, right? And you do move, but it's so slow. I mean, it's like a Fantasyland ride or something.
It's so slow. And we were talking, I think I've said this like 8 times on the show, but Nikki and I were waiting by the exit because the exit is the only place where they put disabled people to put them on the ride. And we just made note of like how many kids got off that ride and were saying nothing to their parents. Like when I was a kid and I got off a ride I loved, I was like, put me the fuck back on that ride. Like, so like, Mom, Dad, I'm going to leave you. I'm going to emancipate myself from you if you don't get me on this ride again. Get on
Space Mountain again.
Like I have to go again. And like, no, not one child was saying anything like that while we were sitting there. And I just thought that was interesting.
How long was the line? Was it like 2 hours to get on it?
It was pretty long. I mean, we went the other way because they were like, okay.
Yeah, you don't get to do on that ride specifically because there's no space. So on that ride specifically, you skip the entire queue. So it was maybe the second. I don't know why. Maybe it was the second time I got on that ride was when I saw the line for the first time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
Which is a weird little. But you don't. You go through the exit. You don't go through the line. So we didn't even see how long.
We didn't even see all that stuff. Yeah,
it was. Yeah.
And that's another thing with that ride and theme parks in general right now. A lot of the times the queues are cooler than the actual rides because they go like over the top with those things trying to entertain the people who will be standing there for hours.
They know that you'll be in there.
Yeah.
If let's say later this year, I have time and money to go to one theme park in the United States. What should I go do?
It is brand new, so maybe Epic Universe. The Nintendo World there is bigger. It has 2 other rides they don't have in California, and one of them I have a soft spot for. It's a small world if it was Yoshi's and Baby Mario's, but it's also like 5 minutes long, and it's not air conditioned, and part of it's outside, so you're like baking in the Orlando sun. But the other one is a Donkey Kong coaster that's really cool. It's one of the better roller coasters there. So maybe Epic Universe. I mean, the Monsters stuff there, the Universal Monster stuff is amazing. I also am not a Potter fan, and I hate that so many of the things that I love have like people at the top of their game with no expenses spared, making amazing works that are based around Potter stuff.
No, it's the worst.
Yeah, the Potter Land there is fantastic. The ride is not as great as people say it is, but the queue, talking about like an amazing queue, it is insane, the line for that ride. So maybe Epic Universe.
But
I'm a Disneyland guy. I think Disneyland's the best of most of them here. So
yeah, it's been a minute. I can't remember the last time we went to Disneyland. I do know my wife and I went. We bought the double pass. We drank a lot over at California Adventure, and then did a lot of stuff everywhere else that we remember not very well. But we did have a good time.
That's good. That's what you want.
Yeah. We did have a good time. I do miss living around that stuff sometimes. Getting back to endless mode, I am curious because we also saw the sale of Kotaku to Keleops. I have no idea how you say that. It is the European holding firm that is running Gizmodo and some other websites. There was actually a really funny quote in the New York Times story about it. Let me find it. Okay, this is what Jean-Guillaume Clay, the CEO of Keleops, said. We want to build an international media group that is focusing on tech in the very broad sense. God, thank you so much, Jean-Guillaume. Wow, way to go, man. That's an awesome statement. We love covering tech in a very broad sense. We absolutely love it. The photo of him also appears to be taken in a world market, a cost plus world market. I'll put that in the show notes for everyone who hasn't seen it. It's pretty good. the sale of Kotaku to this other thing, getting out from under Jim Spanfeller, Giant Bomb kind of reclaiming its independence. I think maybe for the first time ever, this is going to be an insane thing to admit, I think the calendar year 2025 has been the first maybe net positive year on games media in, I would say, 2 to 3 years. It's not over yet, and it's not, I would say, a good year, but I don't know. Are you feeling a little optimistic about things, or are you still kind of feeling like, we're crumbling?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm feeling optimistic personally, but also incredibly stressed at the same time.
Yeah.
But it does seem to be looking up. I mean, the Kotaku news is like, that is great news. And I don't know if people expected that whenever that eventually happened for it to be a good situation.
Yeah.
Which I've heard it's pronounced Keleops is what I was told earlier today.
Keleops.
So.
Okay. But there's an extra E.
Yeah.
You know what? There sure is.
Garrett, I believe you. I believe you. There is an extra E in there.
In fairness, Nikki, Guillaume has like 80 letters in it. So I think they're just kind of used to doing that, But yeah, no, I guess that's where I am too. I feel like we're seeing roles start to appear for people, which I feel like has been the missing part of Aftermath and Us and some other places popping up. Like, that's been amazing, but they haven't been met immediately with like, okay, big opportunities for other people. I feel like, Endless Mode obviously is still it's new, but it's also kind of an established thing, but with some budget and with all of that, but also this Kotaku thing happening again. It feels, I don't know, feels okay.
Yeah. And they're hiring too. They're going to add, which is great.
Yeah.
I mean, normally it gets sold and they do the opposite of that. So,
yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, in long term, I have no idea this would be possible. Like, ideally, we would love to add, a couple more full timers to the roster at Endless Mode. I don't know if that would ever be possible, but we tried to get more at the start, and maybe we'll get to that point at some point. So
yeah. How much as EIC, like, are you really super involved in building out the user experience of the website itself? Like, I'm so curious about, like, are you basically just fitting directly into kind of the AV Club paced established, language? Is that all kind of standardized? I'm really curious about that.
I mean, we have a like a house style sheet, you noticed, where like every site kind of looks the same, and there are some differences, but they're very minor. We spent a couple of weeks before it launched, just like testing, the site was live. We didn't tell anyone. And just like cool. Looking at it every day to make sure things look properly. And we're still seeing things now. Like today we had to have our tech guy go in and fix something because something was looking weird on the site. Involved in that. And I'm having to learn like business stuff.
Business time.
If I was good at business, I wouldn't have been writing, So that's a really fun part of being an EIC. So
what's the scariest part of the business stuff to you? I'm very curious, because I obviously had to do a ton of that too. So you want the number to be high, and it's usually not high enough. Like any of the numbers.
So real.
That's so true.
So real. The numbers are always down, but you want them to be up.
Yeah. And I don't mean traffic numbers. Those numbers are doing good. All numbers I never considered before. EIC. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, when those numbers go down, you're welcome to put, half the page full ads.
Yeah.
Full bleed video that makes your phone super hot. So just know that you always have that in your back pocket to be able to just put so many ads on the screen that only about 5-10 words at a time are available to you.
That'd be great. That's wonderful advice. Definitely making a note of that.
You're welcome, because we did that a lot at Fanbyte, and until the point where we were breaking a lot of browsers, that we would try stuff in. So it was
making
really
a lot
cool.
of phones hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our ad ops people are like, wow, we made so much money. And it's like, yeah, it's because the visibility of our ads is 1,000,000%. And the phone
Remember when we had to turn the website off in the Philippines? ?
Yeah, I do. Yes, I do. Yeah, I do. Stupid.
Was it? Can you talk about that? Like, what was specific about the Philippines?
I don't even remember why.
Was it not a? Was it that we were getting so much traffic, but it was mostly like bad traffic. Like we weren't getting any
bot farm traffic.
It was like bot farm traffic. So we were having some server problems, but like nobody was real. So we basically just shut the website off. And no, that's right. And then there were like literally like 15 people in the Philippines that were like, what the fuck? Why can't we read your fucking website? We're like, I don't know, man. Like talk to fucking your president. I don't know. Like, I don't know what to do. But I do remember that we got really angry email from like 15 very real people.
Yeah. And they were like, where'd it go?
I think we gave them links to a VPN and said,
go here.
Astonishingly, you in the Philippines, go to Atlanta, Georgia, and your VPN and just use the website. So, Garrett, if you ever need tips on how to make your user experience awful at the expense of making those numbers go up,
or turn off a website in the Philippines,
we're so ready for that. So just get at us whenever you want.
There was this thing, we used to own a website called Noise Trade, which was supposed to be kind of like Bandcamp. It was for people to like upload their music to.
Yeah.
And one morning, like we, look at the analytics and we have literally millions of people, like more than we'd ever had at that point, looking at the site. And we found out that some people in India had set up a Noise Trade account and they set up an illegal audio stream of cricket matches during the big cricket games of the year. And so that link was going mad around like the South Asian subcontinent or whatever.
That's awesome.
They had to cut it off after a day.
It wasn't awesome. Yeah.
But it was an interesting day. So
that's crazy.
Our League of Legends site, we could tell so many stories. The League of Legends site we ran, it was always kind of like our second feather in the cap until one day we'd spent more than 5 minutes analyzing who was actually reading the website, and then we realized that I honestly don't even know the end point of this, but we figured out that most of the Indian traffic were people looking for pornography based on their searches within the website itself. I don't understand that part of it. But then once we were like, well, none of this is real, it became clear that website was not viable. So that was cool.
Sick.
Got a lot of cool stuff. Yeah, when we started Fanbyte, our general manager at the time was like, what if I just bought y'all 500,000 bot traffics just to see what happens?
Just off the rip.
Couldn't do anything about it. It killed everything algorithmically and SEO wise for us for like 6 months. Yeah, it's cool shit. So you know what? Endless Mode's launch going way better than Fanbyte.
Way better.
So
cool. It could be different.
We're super psyched. We're super psyched for you. This is super exciting. I'm super, super happy to have so many amazing writers writing for you. You're also an amazing writer and eye for talent. And
thank you.
I'm super stoked that Endless Mode exists. So go to endlessmode.com and definitely give it a read, because it's really one of the last remaining places that I think gives a shit about the written word in a way that, a lot of sites do still, but they're also still like they've got their toes over in so many little territories. And I think y'all really focus on the words, and I love that. I love words.
That's the thing that matters, I mean, like we might have video at some point, we might have podcasts, but like words, reading is always going to be the focus of what we do here. So
yeah. I was super excited. All right, so we've talked about theme parks. We talked about Endless Mode. The other thing that we had to talk about with Garrett Martin on the show is Nikki and I are going to All In Texas, the AEW show, on July 12th. First of all,
that's in like 4 days.
Nikki, I'm really scared. The closer we get to it, the more I'm not convinced that the roof is going to be closed.
Seriously?
I'm having this very scary moment where I'm like, I don't know if they're going to close the roof.
John, they have to close the roof.
It's going to look so much cooler if they don't on TV.
Man.
And I'm scared.
How long does it take to open and close the roof? Is that like a day-long process or?
No, it's about, I think it's, let me see, Globe, Life.
John, it's going to be a billion degrees in there.
Roof, time to close the roof. It takes 15 minutes. Okay.
They open it up by the main event. It'll be cooler. It'll be nighttime.
It'll be cooler by the time we get covered in Hangman Page's blood.
Yeah. It's an AEW pay-per-view, so it'll be like 1 a.m. when the main event starts.
It really will. Yeah. It's gonna be really fucking late. This is gonna be a long show. It is. Okay, I'm reading about it now. Actually, okay, this makes me feel
great
better.
News. I have great news.
This makes me feel it's gonna be closed. Okay, I just saw that too. Okay, all right, good. Because I got real scared.
I was locked in, John. I got scared, dude.
90. It's supposed to be 96 degrees that day. So fortunately, yeah. Garrett, are you excited about All In Texas?
Oh, totally. I wish I was going. I haven't been to an AEW show this year, I don't think, but they're always really fun, you know?
So fun.
Yeah.
This will be my first to actually go to one, so I'm very excited.
Wow. Wait, this is your first AEW show? I've been more AEW shows than you?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't do things. I don't typically do things. So
they love running Texas too. I mean, they had that whole the whole residency thing at the esports building.
I live Garrett, I live 5 minutes from that, and I missed it by a month last year. So I was devastated. I was like, fuck. Because that was amazing. They're actually having that ROH show at the esports arena. So
you should go.
Well, you're going to be here too.
We should go.
We could go. I don't know if it's sold out or not. It's the day before.
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. We could look.
I'm going to look it up.
Let's just go to everything.
Press, so you might be able to, you know.
What if we sent an electronic mail?
Yeah.
What if what if I've already sent an electronic mail that's gone unanswered? What if that's happened?
Man. All right.
We'll see. I mean, you know what? I might not have emailed the right person, so I can do some digging. But yeah, no, I'm also excited. We only have this is kind of interesting. Unless they have changed something in the last hour. Yep. Mm-hmm. Only 6 announced matches so far.
Wow.
I wonder if that's going to change.
Yeah. There'll be like 12 matches by the time the show happens.
I'm going to read it off. The most recently made match was, of course, Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay against the Young Bucks. If Ospreay and Strickland lose, they can't challenge for the AEW title for a year. And if the Young Bucks lose, they won't be executive vice presidents anymore, which is very funny to me. The women's casino gauntlet match, the men's casino gauntlet match, Okada Omega, Tony Storm, Mercedes, and then Moxley Adam Page is now a Texas death match. What are you most excited about of those 6, Garrett?
That's a really tough call. I mean, Tony Mercedes is maybe going to be the biggest women's match in America that you can do right now. And they're both fantastic wrestlers. So, I mean, in many ways, that maybe should be the main event. But like once they added that Texas death match stipulation, you kind of knew that's going to have to be the last thing on the show. And also Hangman, you know, people say it all the time. He is the main character of AEW. Mm-hmm. And this is going to be hopefully a huge night for him getting that title back, which I'd be shocked if that doesn't happen. But
I would be shocked.
Garrett, is the title in the briefcase?
I would not be surprised if we find out it's not that night, but then, you know, someone else brings it out or something, or they have, I don't know. That could be
maybe it's a new title.
Yeah.
Of an extra one. They go back to using Punk's the real AEW championship. They give that to Mox. No, because I want the title to not be in the briefcase. But then he's got to open it.
Yeah.
Right.
Like part of the end of the story has to be him revealing it back to us. but it doesn't work.
What's in it then?
That's what I'm saying. I think it's empty. Unless
you think it's empty. Okay.
Unless you okay. So if I can get in the here. My name is Tony Khan. Okay. Let me do some cocaine really quickly.
Okay. All right. Do some coke. Allegedly. Allegedly.
It was a joke. Okay. So he opens the briefcase.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing in there.
Mm-hmm.
Moxley in the other corner, beaten, bloodied.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, he turns around and he's fine. And then he points at the screen, and the screen is him taking the world title and throwing it. Do you have like a big hole in Dallas?
We have the Trinity River.
Okay, so he's standing over. Are there bridges across it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so is there like a nicer bridge?
Yeah, there's a bridge going into Dallas that's kind of nice, and yeah, it's
so
over
he's
that.
Standing on that one,
mm-hmm.
And he drops it into the river.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
that's the end.
And then Hangman gets in a car, and we follow him all the way to that area
into the river.
Yeah.
Do people go rafting on that river? Tubing or anything? Okay,
it's not a real river. No.
Oh, it's
we don't have aqueduct. We don't have any real shit in this area. We have a bunch of like man-made weird
You've
bullshit.
got the biggest eyeball I've ever seen there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What?
The ball?
Yeah. It's like an eyeball. It's like a giant eye downtown Dallas.
Yep. That's called Reunion Tower, and there's a restaurant in there, and it rotates very slowly.
Oh, very
slowly.
Back to the briefcase.
Yes.
I mean, what if that's where Pac has been all this time?
The whole time. So he opens it up and Pac jumps out like a mimic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Yeah. And then he just kind of like has his abs. He's hitting people with his abs.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Okay. All right. Nothing in the briefcase. That's an interesting idea. I think against my better judgment, I'm most excited about Okada Omega. That's going to be like a Dave Meltzer like butt sniff fest in terms of just like spots and stuff, but I still think like I'm still kind of juiced to see it, partially because everything I've read says they're going to then treat the AEW Unified Championship essentially like they treated the Intercontinental Championship in New Japan for a while, which was kind of we can headline a show with this. We can treat this like it's the main title if we want to. So it is this kind of weird, like, okay, now there are two major titles. We've seen WWE do this forever, where they have these kind of two whatever, and at any given point, whoever's their most important person tends to feel like the more important. No, it tends to be the more important champion.
I see.
You know, so I think I'm excited about that, even though I know it is very possible it could turn into something I would roll my eyes at if I was watching it at home, maybe. Did
you watch Dynamite last night?
I did. Great show.
I'm only halfway through.
Okada, a lot of people think he's been doing that American retirement tour thing that like a lot of Japanese wrestlers get the rep for doing, but his match with Ibushi was fantastic last night. It was like they were both back to where they were like 7 years ago or something.
Yeah. That's great. It was weird. Ibushi actually looked great. He looked terrible last time he did stuff in AEW, just slow, unfocused. And I think he's looked a lot better in the two things that I've seen him do since he got back. The Okada thing is interesting. I've not been that high on Okada's AEW run, except I've been watching a lot of AEW's YouTube channel, which they put together a lot of like 4 to 7 hour videos of just like compilations of stuff. And I was like watching most of an Okada one. I was like, yeah, this motherfucker still is really, 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 really good. Like he's still really good. So I think I'm just excited about that. I think I just kind of think Omega takes it. Just it feels like it's time for him to be a big singles champion again.
It feels like it's a good guys win
show
a little
but
bit.
That can't happen everywhere though, right? So it's like, I don't know. I wonder who the odd person out is.
It feels like then there's 3 A things, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the death match, the women's match, and
Okada,
that's why I'm
Omega.
like, is the oh man, sometimes the bad guy wins. Is Tony lose?
Maybe.
I think Tony lose.
Yeah.
I think Tony loses. Yeah. Yeah, I think they position. I think they position Monet to be the fucking Ultimo Dragon J Crown, like have every belt in the world for a while, and like she's already basically there. I think the other thing it does is that her winning kind of legitimizes the TBS title instead of the other way around. Because I feel like if Toni Storm beats the TBS champion, then there's this kind of like, okay,
what's
that's obviously the secondary championship. It wasn't even on the line. Like it's one of those things where it's like, I think Mercedes having every belt kind of feels like the thing she's going to do for a while. Maybe be because Moxley's going to go on vacation. I think the next big
for him.
Me too. I think, you know what? I think he very clearly needs it. So good for him. You know what's weird is that I feel like I am the only person on earth that's not necessarily like, I'm not in agony over how long this championship run has been for him.
Yeah, Garrett, do you think it's been too long? What's your...
Well, I mean, it's gotten so much better. I mean, back in November, people were already sick of it, like it was so slow and turgid and just dull to start with. But it has really turned a corner, and I mean, it's actually pretty exciting now, and I think it's going to be really effective when Hangman hopefully beats Moxley. I think it's really going to, I mean, you can't really make Hangman any bigger than he is, but it's really going to like officially like, establish him beyond like any doubt. So, yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know what you do with Claudio at that point or Pac. I mean, they're both great wrestlers. I think you can fit them in anywhere, but I don't think the Death Riders have a lot of time left. But and speaking of the heels winning, like I think on the lower card, I mean, I think Bucks are obviously going to win that, and obviously, if a heel doesn't win the gauntlet, it'll be really shocking, especially with everyone expecting the face to win the title at the end of the night. Yeah, but
I'm so amped for Hurt Syndicate to throw those boys.
Oh God,
they're gonna throw those boys so far.
I was like, I don't even dislike Speedball Mike Bailey, but I'm like, I want to see Lashley throw him like a football. I do want to see it. In fact,
was thinking last night, like, I'm sorry,
no.
My wife confused Jet Speed with Top Flight. And I'm like, oh my God, I feel bad for Top Flight because they have
it's their fucking gimmick. Their gimmick just got jacked.
Totally. With like two guys who are like better than they are. Pretty much every aspect of wrestling. It's like, why do you even have Top Flight around anymore?
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, if they come out last night being called Top Flight, I don't know if anyone would have noticed, which is the terrible thing. It's like, this is Top Flight. It's like, this is Top Flight? Okay.
Always has been.
White has a French-Canadian accent all of a sudden. But
don't ask questions.
But I think that's going to be fun. I also am now going to be on the record as saying I do think Lashley and Shelton Benjamin should wrestle in suits officially. I just don't. I don't
good.
Like. It's like I was during that beatdown last night on last night's Dynamite. I was just like, I just think they should always be doing this. I don't know if it's comfortable or practical.
No, almost definitely not.
But I would like to see them.
A suit that fits that well doesn't wrestle well.
No.
So they should always be wearing their wrestling gear underneath it.
Okay.
So they can start the fight with the suits and then be in the regular wrestling garb by the end.
That makes sense. Okay. It's a little bit like Tetsuya Naito situation. Yeah. Okay.
That makes me think of something. In 1998, for one night, I thought Dan the Beast Severn was going to be the biggest pro wrestler in the world because when he debuted for WWF, he was wearing a suit, and then he started doing these rolling German suplexes on the headbangers, I think.
Yes.
And between every suplex, he would stop and adjust his tie. And
that's awesome.
He looked like your dad because he's like this guy with a mustache and he's wearing a suit, and it was just like the coolest thing. And I'm like, this is my guy. And then he never did anything else of note.
He was so bad in the ring, but you're right. He made this incredible first impression because Nikki in 1998, they really got into this idea of like, okay, we made Ken Shamrock work. who was kind of an MMA guy, quote unquote. He was okay, actually. When I go back and watch some of that stuff, he was better than some people that they've tried to. He was better than Ronda Rousey. That's a really low bar, but like they tried to really make a lot of that work. And Dan Severn was a UFC guy, and yeah, he just like he looked like the coldest, like. He looked like an assassin in a really bad like 1988 action movie.
Great.
And it's like that would have been amazing, except he just couldn't do anything that they needed him to.
He was like the main henchman who would be like the last guy to die before the villain died.
Got it. Yeah. That's tough.
It was also a terrible like whole angle. He was the NWA world champion at a point in time when absolutely no one ever cared about the
NWA. One cared.
Who gave a shit?
Yeah, but Jim Cornette brought him in to be the avatar for real wrestling during like the Attitude Era or whatever. And anyway.
Can we talk about how sad it is that Anthony Bowens has fallen off?
Yeah, I watched him open baseball cards on TikTok for 30 minutes last night.
How is that?
And folks, he seems pretty sad.
Yeah.
And I'm sad about that. Anthony Bowens seems like a sweet man, and I'm sad about it.
Bummer.
Yeah. I'm bummed about it. I think it would be really neat if maybe he surprises us and wins the gauntlet. I don't think he's going to. I think MJF is going to pretty clearly win that thing. And yeah, Bowens falling off is a bummer because I also wonder if they fucked up the split with Caster by making Caster look so bad that now granted, Caster made himself look bad in other ways too, but like they really leaned into making him look bad, and I wonder how that affected people's perception of Anthony Bowens.
Also, his new look of being the Falcon is not good. It just isn't good.
Yeah.
And it's weird he's still hanging out with Billy Gunn. I mean, that guy probably can't be a part of it anymore.
No, it's just all of it is so weird. He has such a stink around him, which is a bummer because I think he seems nice.
I also think it's kind of corny, but I think the Pride of Pro Wrestling is a great nickname.
No, it's great.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's really good.
Like it's real. I heard it the first time. I was like, that's fucking awesome. It sounds cool. If you don't know anything about him, you're like, oh, cool. And then if you do, you're like, another layer. That's fun. You know, it's just nice.
It's good.
Yeah.
How do you all feel? I know it's pretty controversial. I'm a baseball fan, so I know what the 5-tool player means.
Oh, right.
A lot of people are like, they really hate that nickname and say it doesn't make sense. They say he has two gimmicks because he's both the Pride and also the 5-tool player, even though I think that's more like being the hitman and the excellence of execution. It's just nicknames, not gimmicks. But how do you all feel about the 5-tool player stuff?
I think most people assume that he has 5 penises. I think when they talk about the 5-tool player,
that's what I thought it meant.
I do think it is a too much in it, and it's such a fucking WCW thing to call someone because it's like, Ted Turner would be like, well, I know what that means because I own the Atlanta Braves, and it's like. Okay, Ted, you get it. Jane Fonda gets it. Tony Schiavone gets it, but I don't know if the average American viewer understands what that means.
Are the tools microphone, body,
microphone, body, wrestling?
Does he do any airborne stuff?
Not really.
Not really.
He doesn't do that much jumpy stuff.
Yeah.
And then what's the 5th one?
Dressing like the Falcon?
That's it. And those are the 5 tools.
And you know what? If that's what he says he is, that's what he says he is.
I love the idea that everyone's like, wait. All I had to do was dress like the Falcon and then I could have been a 5-tool. Fuck. I can't believe I messed this up. Yeah, no, they're trying. I think the Pride of Pro Wrestling was so easy that they were like, okay, we got to come up with a second tortured thing to call him.
Yeah.
Which I don't like. And I almost think, and this is maybe being too harsh. I wonder if they did the 5-tool player to hedge a bet on how Pride of Pro Wrestling would be received. Of just kind of like, are people going to be like, well, he can't be tough if he's proud to be gay. Like, I wonder that aloud of like, that would be so dumb, but I'm also like, it's wrestling.
Can I give you the 5?
Okay, give me the 5. Okay. Yep.
On May, he said he gave us the 5 on May 9th.
Okay.
In an exclusive Facebook video.
Oh my God. Okay.
Power, athleticism, intelligence, the look, and it factor. Those are the 5.
Are the look and the it factor not the same?
They are separate in his mind. Those are 2 different bespoke tools.
Yeah.
They are as different as a saw and a sledgehammer to this man.
I mean, I guess 1996, The Rock had the look, but not the it factor, right?
Yeah.
Like he was like a mega dweeb that didn't know what to do.
But does he have the it factor right now?
No, The Rock doesn't. Oh, you mean Anthony Bowens?
Yeah.
I think he did in the Acclaimed.
I think he did.
Yeah.
But not anymore. So currently he has 4 tools.
He's got to go for that 5th tool.
Yeah.
That could be
that's a good journey.
His story.
Put him on a team with freaking Rick
Flair?
No, O'Shea.
Oh, okay.
Rick O'Shea? Oh, Ricochet. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? So he and Ricochet being like a bad guy tag team?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
I can kind of see it. Yeah.
That's my idea.
All right.
Thanks.
Would you put a caster in there just to take the falls and everything?
No. I don't think he's in there at all.
No, I love the idea.
I think he just gets replaced.
They're a trios team now, and Max Caster loses every single time. That would be really, really funny. Yeah, how are you feeling generally about, wrestling writ large, I guess? Obviously AEW feels like it's in a good place, but gosh, what about everything else?
Honestly, I don't have time to watch any other wrestling. I mean, I don't watch WWE, and I do, love New Japan, and what I've seen of Stardom is amazing. I just don't have time to really watch much. So
that's essentially where I am. We have a lot of folks in the VGB's Discord that do watch a lot of those Stardom matches and a lot of New Japan and some indies, and I'll catch little glimpses of it, and it is just a time thing. Yeah, I've pretty much fully given up WWE over the past 7 months. Don't miss it really at all. Truly, it's one of those things where I'll peek back into it and be like, yeah, CM Punk dressed up like John Cena in Saudi Arabia to make fun of him, and I'm like, oh man, brother, that's what we're doing. Okay, but yeah, I think AEW has been really, really obscenely good, especially in the past 6 months. So it's been awesome.
I'll say this: I'm one of those guys who never liked Triple H. I think he's probably one of the worst, just because of the level of how prominent he is. One of the worst wrestlers ever. But I have nothing but admiration for how he waited patiently and then just systematically undermined everything CM Punk ever stood for in 4 days. Just completely nuked that guy from ever being relevant ever again. Beautiful.
Just the unbelievable, unfathomable public torture and dismantling of Phil.
What, though, do you think?
I paid well.
You mean why would Punk do that, or why would Triple H want to do that?
That's what the money is for. Says Don Draper. I don't know.
It's deeply funny, but I'm for what though?
Just the guy that's
funny.
He's just a fraud.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Which is nuts. Can you imagine being exposed as a fraud by Triple H? That's fucking insane to me. It's just
generational loss.
It's just unbelievable. It's like I don't know. It's like if Scooby-Doo is like, no, that's not a ghost. It's Mr. Smothers, and Mr. Smothers just rips Scooby-Doo's face off, and it's someone else underneath. It's like, wait, whoa, wait a second. Yeah, I don't know. It's really strange.
Crazy.
I don't know for what.
I meant to ask earlier, in Texas at All In, is Brody King going to be the most popular guy in the building?
I hope so.
I think so. I hope so.
I do think that building is going to be mostly full of people who would warmly receive an Abolish ICE t-shirt. And it's rare. You don't go to a sporting event in Texas often where I would say that that's likely. Cowboy games, certainly not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he'll be pretty popular. Think it's cool how popular that dude's gotten in the past few weeks. He totally deserves it. Totally. And I am doing the best I can to look like him in about 5 years. I got to gain a lot of muscle and grow a lot.
And a lot of tattoos.
A lot of tattoos, yes. But what 6 months to fully cover your body? That's probably
that
I'm
seems
just kidding.
healthy.
I'm totally kidding. I'm excited about Brody King. I was thinking last night during that four person qualifying match, I was like, if we got like a best of 7 series between MJF and Brody, I wouldn't hate it. Like that would be like every single time like Brody did something really terrible to him, the reaction was legitimately very funny. I'm someone that's like actually not MJF's biggest fan, but he plays against Brody King very, very well. Which I loved a lot.
I like that spot that they have MJF in right now, which is that he is important, but also nothing he's doing right now is important. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't feel bad. Like it doesn't. It's maybe the best I think he's ever felt is the way I feel about him right now. Which is to say that man, he's not getting in the way of anything, and he's having a good time being MJF over here in ways where it feels not consequential, which I think is delightful. And at some point, I guess it will become consequential. But it feels like he's in a good spot right now.
It feels like they've cut the bullshit out about him like teasing going to WWE. Like that's like a plot point for him, because I just think to the credit of AEW being good and maybe to the credit of WWE being like a laughably bad company right now, it's like, who's taking that seriously, I guess? Like, I don't know. It's like, okay, go. Like, whatever.
Yeah,
that's fine.
See you later.
You want. So I think like that coming to an end was good for him. But I think that just speaks to how deep this roster is. Like, it's a super deep roster.
It was also surprising, like the whole Mystico feud, that the level to which he became racist, which has been something he always does, it wasn't quite as bad as the racism he's done in the past. It's like
in the past.
Yeah, he toned it down a little bit.
It's growth. Way to go.
Growing. He was
way to go, Maxwell.
A lot racist.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. I also love the Superman tie-ins they did last night, which was just really awkward.
It was so funny though. There was a really good one in the first third of the show. Welcome to our Dynamite Review podcast.
Yeah, sorry. We have been on this for 30 human minutes. We will leave soon.
Should we get Colette on here? Should we?
Get in here.
Colette, get in here.
There was. It's fucking stupid. Someone got thrown out of a corner. And Ian goes, that guy flew just like Superman, which I hear is coming out on July 11th. And Excalibur goes, speaking of Superman flies onto screens on July 11th. And it was really good. It was so fucking funny. I really think commentary is having a very good. They're having a good time. It's because JR is not on the program anymore. But like they're having the commentary on both shows is really, really good. I have such a good time watching Dynamite in a way that like I am like very grateful for how good it is right now.
I'm not bracing for someone to say something like horribly out of pocket. I just also like I was watching like old TNA videos recently on YouTube. I've just been really into watching wrestling shit on YouTube the past few weeks. Spent a lot of time in bed resting my broken ankle. And he used to be so bad on commentary, like unbelievably bad. And I think it's probably because he was getting bad direction.
Tony?
No, Taz.
Taz.
Did I say Tony? I meant Taz. And like Taz is so funny and good now.
Yeah, he's great.
I loved it a few weeks ago when like I think Excalibur was like, yeah, we want to send our best wishes to Taz. There's something wrong with him. We just miss him. And I was like, that's like the cutest thing I've ever seen on a wrestling show.
I like him.
Yeah, I do too. All right, so we have 6 matches. What's the 7th that you want to see? I agree with you that there will probably be 12 on this bad boy by the end of the week, but like, what's just one more match that each of y'all want to see?
What are the Costco guys up to? Are they good for one more?
Well, Nikki, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but when I did talk to Big Justice at DreamHack Dallas, that is real. I asked them if they were coming to All In Texas, and they are. So I would imagine that they'll be wrestling in the pre-show.
Interesting.
Against like what do we think? Who do we think AJ will be facing randomly?
I mean, Ricochet. I mean, who's it? Caster. Who's the heel? Who's basically at this point like a comedy character? You know,
Max Caster is true.
Fun.
Yeah,
that's true, and he would do a bad rap about the Costco guys. He doesn't really, do that anymore.
Not anymore, but maybe he'll bring it back out.
Yeah. That's a delicious idea. What if it's I'm
gonna look up.
What if it's Pac? No, I'm just kidding.
God, that would fucking own.
AJ
Pac just destroying this man would be incredible.
Oh my God. Pac getting on the mic with his with his Newcastle accent going, chicken bick. Yeah. Oh my God, that would be funny. God, that would be good. I don't know. So your answer is whoever AJ is facing, Nikki. That's the match you want to see.
Yeah.
Okay, Nikki's on the record for that. What about you, Garrett?
That's what I want.
That's a tough call. I mean, FTR doesn't have a match currently announced, right? And those guys, I mean, they are always pretty fantastic, especially in like the big spots. So who are they even feuding with right now? I know they're fighting. Are they wrestling the Outrunners on Collision? Maybe
on Collision 100 yes. On Saturday. They're facing the Outrunners. Yeah.
But an FTR match could be good. I mean, does Daniel Garcia still have a title, or Adam Cole?
No, Adam has it. Adam has it.
Yeah, I feel bad for that guy.
Yeah, I do too.
What do they got to do for him?
Well, for Daniel Garcia?
No, for Adam Cole.
I don't know. I have a really he seems like such a lovely guy, like IRL. There's something, I'm going to say something tremendously like this is the most Vince McMahon coded thing I'm ever going to say, which is horrifying that I'm going to admit that.
I can't wait.
But like, he's so little. They gotta like book him right or something. There's something about him being, they gotta cut his hair maybe. I don't know what it is, but there's something about it where it's like, I watch him in the ring and I'm like, you're so little, dude. But they don't play him like he's little. Does that make sense?
He wrestles like he's a normal heavyweight. And
he's not. He's little. He's a little guy. Yeah. He's like, it's like I have a Chihuahua. He weighs 8 pounds. If he was like trying to act all like big and stuff, it's like, what are you doing? You can't, who are you fooling? Mister.
I mean, I would never want to be a body guy and never endorse that.
No, of course
McMahonian view. But at the same time, it is true that many fans do not take him seriously anymore, and it's because of his size. So
yeah, I mean, I do think it's
crazy.
It's a weird thing where it's like I just think he gets booked against these opponents that and he just wrestles like he's a heavyweight. And I'm like, he's not. And I don't think it means that they need to bring in some sort of cruiserweight division. Like, I don't know if that makes any sense, but like, I don't know. They did that. I feel like they do this sometimes with people they like, as they start booking them against people who really match their style, and then get people on their side, and then it starts to really congeal. But yeah, I don't know what Adam Cole's. I watched that MJF match from like All In London, and I was like, that was fun. That was more fun than I remember it being live. But it's like there are so many matches I see of his where I'm like, I'm not having like a blast.
He also has been basically doing the same thing for over a decade. I mean, like the same basic character, the same promo style, the same type of matches. So I don't know. He's just a little stale, despite
he's frozen
so much time for injury.
He feels frozen. Yeah. He feels frozen. Well, I agree. I think FTR having a match should be fun. I would even like, I don't know, maybe just throw fucking Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong at them. That'd be like a fun.
Yeah, that's fun.
You know, hard hitting. Why not? That'd be kind of fun. That'd be probably kind of fun. Nikki and I have good seats. We're probably going to get blood on us in that Texas death match. Can't wait for that.
So.
Where are y'all sitting?
It's down in the bowl, so it's not in the stadium itself. We're back a little bit left of looking right down the entrance ramp, up toward like the back of one of those sections. So we'll be elevated a little bit, but like, kind of up toward the top of where they'll be like going through the crowd probably for some bullshit. So yeah, we have pretty good seats, I think. We'll have to see. Folks, we've talked about wrestling long enough. It's time to talk about the very magical world of video games. And like, nothing bad has happened this week. It's all been great news. And I can't wait to play so many of Phil Spencer's wonderful games. And that's the end of the show, folks. So join us next week.
That's awesome.
And
thanks, Sean.
So unless you've been living under a rock, 9,100 people have been let go from Microsoft across many different divisions, but a lot of gaming divisions were also affected. I'm just going to run through some stuff real quick. Blackbird, which was the code name for the ZeniMax MMO that was being created, that apparently every executive in Microsoft is going apeshit for and was apparently going well, that was canceled. The Perfect Dark reboot and its studio, dead. Everwild, which was a big Rare game, dead. John Romero's studio was basically relying on their next project with a bunch of funding from Microsoft. That was pulled. Now that's dead, and a lot of those people are probably at risk for losing their jobs. Nikki will be right back. Thanks, Nikki. It's just been a nightmare of a week for everyone affected over at Microsoft. I don't normally do this because I don't think it's like all that important. But I kind of want to read Phil Spencer's statement. And it's kind of long, but I think it's important. This was an email sent from Phil Spencer, who is the CEO of Microsoft Gaming. This was passed to Windows Central from an anonymous source, and they reprinted it. Today, we are sharing decisions that will impact colleagues across our organization to position gaming for enduring success and allow us to focus on strategic growth areas. We will end or decrease work in certain areas of the business and follow Microsoft's lead in removing layers of management to increase agility and effectiveness. Out of respect for those impacted today, the specifics of today's notifications and any organizational shifts that will be shared by your team leaders in the coming days. I recognize that these changes come at a time when we have more players, games, and gaming hours than ever before. Our platform, hardware, and game roadmap have never looked stronger. The success we're seeing is currently based on tough decisions we've made previously. We must make choices now for continued success in future years, and a key part of that strategy is the discipline to prioritize our strongest opportunities. We'll protect what is thriving and concentrate effort on areas with the greatest potential while delivering on the expectations the company has for our business. This focused approach means we can deliver exceptional games and experiences for players for generations to come. That's not the entire thing, but that's the meat of it that I really wanted to read. I don't normally do this. I think everyone responsible for that second paragraph of them taking a victory lap, for that responsible making it to this email, should actually lose their job like today. In a just world, nobody responsible for getting that paragraph to that email should have a job.
What if they wrote that and then found out they were part of the layoffs?
I mean, God, I hope
they might have, because
I hope so.
You know, who knows what kind of management positions were eliminated as part of these 9,100.
Yeah, it's so people. Crazy to be like it's management when like half of the industry is made up of people who have manager in title but do not manage anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just what the industry is. It's like you are a product manager, you are there are so many things with manager in the title where it's just like, yeah, that could be literally anybody. It's the EA special, right? Which we talked about it last week, which is like, yes, their average pay has gone down. Right. And it's like, yes, if you get rid of all of the people who you have been forced to pay more because they've been there for a very long time, and then keep hiring children that you fire every 2 years and don't get the opportunity to even get to the position of being paid that number, then like, yeah, it's going to fall. So I don't know, just like unconscionable. Is that the word?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Unconscionable stuff, like completely crazy.
We talk about Phil a lot on the show, Garrett, and a theme of even as recent as last week is kind of assessing his competence over the past 6 to 7 years. Like, what's your high level take on this guy, and like where you've seen this whole thing go for the past 5 to 6 years?
Obviously, I don't think he's particularly competent at running a gaming company, but at the same time, he's still making tens of $1 million a year, I would assume, while, he's figured out how to make that work. So it's terrible for everyone else in the company, but it's good for him, I guess.
Yeah.
That's a level of competence.
Congrats to him.
Yeah.
I think what's actually really interesting in terms of his position being so seemingly well insulated is that, I mean, this is going to sound insane, but like, I have not seen a major executive go through this number.
No, usually you don't.
Layoffs
you don't usually
before
get this
getting
many.
the axe. You normally don't actually truly get this many. I mean, we've seen some pretty awful executives get about 3 or 4 of these, but Phil's had like 6 on his watch.
Yeah,
and.
What does he know?
What does he know? That's a really good. Bill Gates' piss machine doesn't work. He's the only one that knows.
Usually, but even from a like the other side of it is they will sometimes even get rid of people who may not have been doing a bad job, but in the service of perpetuating the cycle where you don't get to have any sort of stability, you also get rid of the person in charge. So then you're like, well, we're changing everything. And then when that obviously inevitably doesn't work either, then you get to continue to lay people off. That he's survived that part of it too.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So again, what does he know?
Xbox bought Activision Blizzard King, of course, for $69 billion. King was a very major part of this layoff round. They lost a lot of people over there. Let's go over a couple other notes. Yeah. So this Perfect Dark thing, apparently all the footage we saw of that, 18 months ago or whatever was like not real. It seems like that game has apparently never really been in good shape, according to some reports that we're getting today. As bad as, and this is like the entire headline of a recent, I think it was actually Polygon that posted this. I can't remember the writer. As bad as Microsoft has been at actually running studios, it kind of makes sense that when they run all of them, that they're very bad at at running more studios when they're bad at running fewer studios.
But I think I think they're now in the gear where they're just like, well, we have the machines that make themselves,
right?
Which is to say, we have Candy Crush and we have Call of Duty,
right?
And that's more money than God if you put those two things together. And EA has Madden and FIFA, and that's also more money than God. Less money than it used to be, but like more money than God, and they're okay. So they just must be like, we're gonna just park the fucking bus. Then we don't have to do anything. Because they canceled like some stuff. They canceled Perfect Dark, not a real game. But ZeniMax Online had another like game that people could not shut the fuck up about. Phil himself had to be told to stop playing the game in meetings because he was playing it so much because people thought it was so good, and they canceled that today. And
you know what he was? You know what he was doing in those play sessions though?
What?
He was trying to figure out how to fire all 9,100 people that were
making it.
He was going apeshit over it apparently.
And now the game is canceled, and it's like, if you don't make video games anymore, then I guess it's fine if you're a video game company. So
do we know if like the underperformance of whatever FIFA is called now, what FC I think, was it actually like a really poorly selling game, or is it that thing where it sold really well but they had insane expectations we didn't come close to meeting?
We've asked that question to ourselves like out loud on this show a couple times because we were we are two sports games people, so we latched onto a lot of people. I don't know if you remember the news cycle, but a lot of people were focusing a lot on the news that Dragon Age the Veilguard like underperformed, and like most pieces were being written about that, but it's like, no, guys, the fucking like big story is that they admitted that FC football was like down, which is nuts.
Shrank.
Like that's a big like red flag. But we're kind of like you. We couldn't figure out based on everything we were looking at if it was just like, oh, their expectations grew and it made no sense for the fit that they were trying to get into, or if it actually is shrinking. Like we don't know.
And that's the first one without the FIFA name, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
But I don't even think it was. I don't think
everyone calls it. By the way, everyone calls it FIFA and still buys it anyway. It seems like it's like.
Yeah, it's just like, I think people are just so disenchanted. Like the games have felt the same forever,
a very long time. Yeah.
So like. And now I really do think people have gotten to the point where they're like, for what? Like literally for what? I'm only playing this thing in like little bits and chunks anyway. I don't need to have this year's FIFA.
Yeah.
Which like, I'm sure they're getting the numbers from that. That's why I'm like, it had to have missed lowered expectations.
Yeah.
Is what I feel. Right? Because like the people that are
there's no way they pull the brand out and go, it'll sell better. Except Nikki, we do have another story to talk about.
Oh, really?
Which is EA believes that 100 million people will play the new Battlefield game. So
100 we can sit people on the planet.
People on the planet. We can sit here and assume that they're smart enough to realize that if they pull the brand out from under their biggest game, that fewer people will buy it. We can assume that. Or we could look at this news story that came out this week from Eurogamer and Ars Technica that basically said, by the way, the next Battlefield shit, they expect 100 million people to play it.
Like in this span of time, how many copies Black Ops 6 sell?
Well, I can tell you how many players the most popular Battlefield game has had, and it was 30 million. It was less than a third of what they expect.
How long ago was that?
It was years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, it was years ago.
They think that this one game is going to have 1/5 as many copies as Call of Duty has ever sold.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when they make these numbers up, like they know that the people they're saying that to they believe that, right? Like they know that those people expect the numbers to actually eventually add up, right? They're not just like, it's crazy.
Well, they're taking it directly to shareholders. Their shareholders going, "Wow, that sounds great."
Yeah,
and maybe one of them will go, "What makes you think you'll get there?" And then they'll give an answer that feels good enough for them to be like, "Okay," and then they'll drop it.
Maybe when you open it, you have to press open game 4 times. Because then they only need 25 million people. And if they just count each of those sessions as a different person, that's 100 million.
They could do the Netflix thing where anyone who spends a minute playing the game, like every minute counts as a different user.
That counts. Oh, that's such a good idea.
So smart. That's so smart. Yeah.
There are 48 billion people playing Monopoly Go right now.
48 billion? That's what EA thinks. EA thinks there are 48 billion people on the planet. So obviously EA is, we're talking about maybe 18 months from having a layoff cycle roughly the size of what we've just seen with Microsoft from a percentage perspective, probably, right? I mean, that has to be where this is going, right?
But I guess you get rid of the Battlefield studio, but and then what? Like, not to be rude, but they already weren't making Battlefield games.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're gonna release one and then not release
they're gonna. I think this is basically a weird, drawn out funeral for Battlefield. They're gonna go this next one's gonna be so big. Whether it's going to sell 100 million, or it's going to have 100 million players, and here it is. That's what they expect to happen.
100 million people.
Is DICE making the new one? Are they still involved with Battlefield?
They turned DICE. They closed one of the DICEs because it used to be a multi-studio or a multi-team studio, if I'm remembering correctly. Because there was Battlefield DICE. And there was Battlefront DICE, and those were 2 different teams under the umbrella. My understanding is that obviously when they spun down Battlefront, they let some of those people go, and then I think the rest of them turned into a new studio called Battlefield Studios.
Okay.
Is that true? Battlefield, yes. And it's headed up by the guy from... Infinity Ward, who made Titanfall. Vince Zampella.
Oh, okay.
So it's DICE Criterion of they made the racing game, Ripple Effect and Motive all got swooshed into one studio, Battlefield Studios, who's been working on this for however long. And then 100 million people are going to play it. So that's good. So, I mean, listen, the thing is, it's just not like Motive, DICE, or Criterion have made any good or important games.
Yeah.
In the last 20 years.
I mean, it's like that, I think, is the thing that feels so, I think especially disgusting. It feels like there has been a defilement of a lot of our institutions. I'm not going to say that these run-of-the-mill layoffs are good at all. But there's also something deeply disturbing about how many of them now are affecting some really, really institution insulated figures that have done amazing things and continue to do amazing things. And now we're just looking at all these people out of work, and for what?
Yeah. Imagine just being I'll just kill BioWare. That's it.
Right.
That's it. We'll just kill BioWare.
Which again, Anthem not shut down yet. They're shutting it down next year.
I was shocked. I was
shocked.
Years ago,
I will say this: EA was kind of a baller move. EA not turning that game off before.
You know what?
That's all right.
And I don't mean to be rude. Do you think they forgot? And this is what they're doing. Because I wondered aloud when I read that story this morning that finally, after however many years, they're shutting down Anthem servers. The game will not be playable. We should play Anthem before it closes. I completely agree. Yeah, I was shocked to learn that, but you're right. Yeah, they're going to kill BioWare because, this next Mass Effect game is never going to come out. It's too late. And yeah, this will just be another thing on the pile. I'm enthused by some of the studios that are popping up, but it's kind of like the games media thing. There aren't enough new things to go around for all the talented people who are out there looking for work. And I think we're kind of getting to that point. We're well beyond that point, I think, with actual game making, where that kind of money is just not around for people right now.
Yeah.
Do you think that we are closer to that Mass Effect game being handed off to a studio like the one that made Persona 5, the mobile one? That seems more likely, right? Than anything.
I just don't think it. I don't think it sees the light of day. I really don't.
Wait, no, sorry. Do you think when this Mass Effect game that they say that they're working on doesn't come out? Because I agree. Do you think that we will see another game called Mass Effect that will be like a mobile game like that? Or do you think that is the end of that?
I think even they might have to know that the goodwill that game has is partially because of who built it and the kind of game it is and all that stuff. I think even they know that would be a non-starter.
And the people who also made Mass Effect popular seem to be the people most likely to reject any kind of mobile game.
Yeah.
Like that Warcraft moment when they all booed that announcement at their show or whatever.
Yeah. No, totally.
Can I say something about BioWare?
Please.
Yeah.
The Veilguard is the first good Dragon Age game.
Whoa.
I honestly believe that.
Spicy.
Say more. Give us more. What do you love about it? No?
That's so real. That's so real.
That's also so real.
Much. I love real. That. Sometimes you gotta just say shit and be like, that's just what I believe,
that's
dude.
Just what I believe.
What the fuck?
I think it's the first time they actually have a cast of characters that feel fully rounded and that really complement each other really well. And it doesn't feel as stock fantasy setting. The problem I had with the original Dragon Age was it was the most generic fantasy setting you could imagine.
Yeah.
And it never really grew past that in the early ones, which are the ones I played. I did not play the Inquisition, which I know a lot of people love. So maybe that one is good. But of the three I've played, I did not like the first two, and I liked Veilguard.
I could not tell you a single thing that happened in Inquisition. Got into my head. Couldn't tell you a fucking thing. Something opens up in the sky. You've got a magic hand crystal.
Apparently
you can close the holes in the sky. Yeah, there's the Eggman. He's there, but he was bad the whole time, actually.
Yep. Yeah, no, Garrett, if you liked Veilguard for those reasons, you might actually really like Inquisition. That's true. You might really like it. Because it had, I agree with you about the well-rounded characters thing, because Origins and 2 did not have that. In my opinion. I also agree with you about the stock fantasy setting. Inquisition did away with a bit of it. I think the Veilguard just leaned a little bit more into it than that. So yeah, I didn't hate Veilguard. I didn't hate it. I do think it feels incredibly, I've said this before, but it's Avowed to me did not feel like it had been stopped and started multiple times in development. Right. The Veilguard did to me. I could see the seams of the games that were stitched together to me.
Yeah.
And that did stand out while I played it. But I do think it got a fairly overwhelming amount of hate that I don't think it deserved. I agree with that.
And
any other?
They said they were going to sell 100 million copies of it.
They did have insane expectations for that.
So yeah, you can only lose, and I'm sure that's also what was happening at Microsoft, right? You're only set up, programmed to lose so that they can intentionally.
Garrett, do you have any other total banger heater hot takes? For us?
You're looking for a place to get out. This is a safe space for that.
This is a safe space.
I mean, I've never hesitated from saying that stuff at Paste or now, mode, but I don't know. I mean, crap. I feel like I'm being put on the spot.
Portal's bad. Do you have that?
I do like Portal. I never really cared for Half-Life, but I've never really fully played Half-Life. I mean, I tried playing it on the Xbox 360 years after it came out.
That's where you're supposed to play it.
Mm.
I love the orange box so much.
That's the best. Same Team Fortress 2 is at its best on the Xbox 360. Is that what you want?
I did like the orange box a lot. I did like the orange box a lot. I liked it. I thought it was really good.
I've never gotten Sonic.
What does that mean?
Me too.
What does that mean? What do you mean
too.
you've never gotten Sonic?
I don't see why it's fun. Like the very first one, it's
so
too
bad.
fast. The way the level goes up and down a little bit, but not that much. You never know what you're missing. And as someone used to like playing a lot of platformers back then and being somewhat of a completionist, Sonic has always been not good at scratching that itch because you're passing stuff up.
Yeah, 100%.
And also attitude, the whole 90s attitude thing, I didn't like that.
Yeah.
I was there at the time and I was like trying too hard.
Yeah. God, these are great. Yeah,
I liked Bonk.
Agree.
Bonk was a good guy. Bonk was just he was humble. He wasn't showing off. He was doing the work.
Now we can't stop Garrett from being like, I liked Bonk a lot. Here, let me tell you about Bonk for the next. I do remember going over to a friend's house who had a TurboGrafx 16, and I was like, that was the weird third thing out at the time, where it was like I had a Genesis, and then I was jealous of all my friends that had Super Nintendo because it was way better for the most part.
You had Lion King though,
but then I had Sonic. I did have Streets of Rage though, which was very good. But I went over to some kid's house that had a TurboGrafx, and I was like, what the fuck is this Bonk game?
Who's this?
But it was cool,
man. And if you're talking about Disney games, TurboGrafx, they had a Darkwing Duck game that was pretty cool, and a really bad Tailspin game. And they also have this amazing game that you should go look up called Yo Bro, which is about a bear on a skateboard who loves the Beach Boys, and he's wearing a jacket for like the Beach Boys fan club, and like all the music, it's like chiptune versions of Beach Boys songs.
I love that.
And it's a terrible game, but it's a really cool package overall. I was a TurboGrafx guy.
I don't think I've ever seen. This is what it looked like.
What, the TurboGrafx?
The games on here looked like this.
Damn,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's so I was born in the right time.
Yeah,
that's what I'll say.
You're just happy you missed all this stuff.
That's what I'll fucking say. It is a miracle they all still like these things.
No, I think we've just seen how far they've come, But some of that stuff still aged well. Some of it.
No, for sure.
I'm joshing. Big system for shoot 'em ups, shmups, and I feel like that genre has not aged well, and that new people can't really get into it. But if you were into them or become into them, the old ones hold up really well, and so that's a point in the TurboGrafx favor. So
huge.
Garrett, are you playing anything lately that you're particularly excited about?
I've been playing a lot of shmups. I've been going through buying a ton of them. Those M2 shot trigger games, you know about that? They take M2 is the developer in Japan, and they have a series called Shot Triggers, where they take like some of the most popular and acclaimed shmups ever made, and they make these versions that have on the sides like all kinds of like information about what is happening behind the scenes, like things you aren't supposed to see when you play the game, like telling you how much health an enemy has, or having like a full recreation of the map on the side so you can look over and kind of get a sense of what's coming. And they do things where they like break it down like level by level. Like they'll take one level and have it be like 6 chapters of what they call challenge mode, and you just try to see if you can get through without getting hit. So you can like practice that part of the game over and over, so that when you finally try to do your what they call the 1cc run, where you try to make a run through the entire game without dying once, you like hopefully have practiced enough.
That's so sick.
So that's pretty cool.
I love that.
Yeah. And then whenever I have downtime, if I'm not playing something like new for review or, just to see what's happening with the new stuff, I've been going back to Assassin's Creed Shadows all year.
Okay.
It's one of the very best Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah. I had a really good time in my first 10 hours. I got busy with other stuff and haven't gone back, but it's one I keep seeing people play and show clips of, and it is I mean, like, this is not everything, but it's so beautiful. Like, the denseness of the foliage in that game is crazy to me. And it's just like the way that game actually behaves when a ton of stuff is happening is still technically very impressive to me. So I should go back to it.
It has the best rainstorms in video game history. They come out of nowhere and they're insane and they blow away, and
that's a cool game.
How about you?
Yeah, Nikki, have you been playing anything?
One game I can't talk about. I can talk about. I choose not to.
Okay.
And then, ow. This cracked.
I heard that. I heard it.
Crazy.
Yeah, I heard it.
That was nuts.
Yeah, it sounded bad.
I don't think I've played a different video game other than that one this week.
Okay.
Sorry, right. Mario Kart. Have you ever heard of it?
Yeah, you're still playing that. Yeah, I played it for a charity stream last week. Did almost crash out because
That's okay.
I think that game is not designed very well. I just don't think it is. Ironically, from our Sonic conversation, looking forward to that Sonic kart racer a lot, because I think those are better than Mario Kart. I think those are a lot better. I played about an hour of Half Sword again today, which is the physics-based medieval weapons fighting game.
The one where you sent me a TikTok.
I sent you a TikTok on accident. I didn't mean to send you that.
And it's an Eastern European man doing a stream where he swings a sword, and then within 2 seconds he sliced a man's head open in the little arena. And I said, "Oh, he got his head cut open."
Yep.
So are you good at that one?
It. I'm not good at it, but I'm understanding it. You basically use the mouse to move your character in a direction, but you're holding down the left or right mouse button to swing whatever weapon is in your hand. And it is deeply, deeply physics based, all the way down to like injury. So it's kind of Bushido blade, but for dumb idiots online who just love to post clips of them, like, throwing a scythe into a guy's head. And it's, it's like, it is a gross game. You can actually change the gore level of it. So if you're not into seeing guys like get their heads, like, I'll have to say, pretty realistically, like, split open, like in a way that it's like, I don't have to see this right now. You can tone that down. It is a free demo right now. It is a mess in terms of just like the UX of this thing is a fucking disaster. Like, it just doesn't really make sense the way they've laid anything out. And a lot of stuff is still broken. But when you do get in there, it's fun. Right now, it's not PvP. It's just PvE, like, you against the computer. When they put PvP mode in this game, I actually think it might pop off and be kind of something.
Fun. That's so exciting.
Because it's just so grounded, 1-to-1. Everyone's kind of got the same level playing field, but you like rush to get weapons in this little arena. Like a lot of like esports bullshit strategy might emerge from this. Like, I just think it's one of those games you got to, like, if your TikTok algorithm has not become overrun with it, like mine has, and of course I'm part of the problem, you will eventually see this game and probably want to check it out. So there's a free demo. It's on Steam. Goofy as fuck, but I did it. I have enjoyed playing that a lot.
Oh yeah.
What's it called again?
Half Sword.
Okay. I thought that's what you said, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah. Half Sword. It's got a free demo up on Steam. It's keyboard mouse only. I think I read that they're doing some mod stuff with it, and I think you can play with controller, but I'm not, injecting a mod into this thing.
You're saying I froze up. You're saying you're good have now. Sword, like the game where you have sword?
No, Half Sword.
So it's called Have Sword, the game where you have sword.
No, it's Half Sword. HALF.
Like it's been cut in half.
Incomplete sword.
Yeah. Okay. No, but I really like the idea that it's called Have Sword.
They should change it.
They should change it. I agree. I can have a little sword as a treat. Yeah, so that's what I've been playing, and also Cyberpunk on Switch 2, but we've talked about that like 5 times in the past few weeks, so I won't go into that.
Is the Switch 2 one good?
Yeah.
Is it running?
Yep.
I've not touched it since like the review period, so I know they fixed it. Yeah, so
if you're, I will say this, and again, I have said this. I think like if you've played it on PC and you can just like take it to Steam Deck, like that's easy enough. And you do have to do some finicking. Like you do have to mess with it a little bit to like get it to really be good. The Nintendo Switch 2 version, like, yeah, visually it's not going to be like max settings on PC, but it runs really reliably. I've let this shit like stay on and run forever, and I haven't had a single crash in like my 18 hours of play with this recent build. So
has the car fallen through the map at all?
No, like I legitimately have not had like shit like that was happening all the fucking time in the first year this game was out. And now it's just not happening.
That's good.
So
I don't know if I want it if the car doesn't fall through the floor.
That's fair enough.
I'm just being honest.
Honestly, you might be right. That might be the best part of it. Hey folks, if you go to vgbs.com/join, you can join the Hive and ask us questions every single week. We get questions from you, the Hive, to answer. And boy, you gave us a lot to chew on today. We're going to not go through all of these because there are a lot of them, but we are going to start with two questions from someone named Imran Khan.
Okay.
Was he
whoever that is?
Political figure in the UK, I think is.
That sounds right.
That sounds right.
Famous man.
I guess he's interested in beard care and food because he has asked Garrett for beard care tips.
You got to let the beard do what it wants to do.
Okay.
You just let it grow. I don't wax it. I'll wash it sometimes when I wash my hair, but not like an every shower wash type of situation. You know, you just have to trim it every once in a while. I actually I trimmed it a little bit today because I did 2 podcasts that were both on camera, and I had to make sure it was looking pretty spiffy. But
and you know what, you did great.
You did great.
I know it kind of comes in and out with the blurring, but
no, you did great. We can see it
through.
And folks,
Imran's a Georgia boy, by the way.
I know. And he asked a second question.
Okay.
Best food in Atlanta.
Man, that's really tough. Lots of good barbecue places. I have not made it in the city for a while. It is not because of the food. I'm going to tell you this. My favorite restaurant in Atlanta is Trader Vic's. And that's
really?
It's one of only 2 left in America.
Yeah.
And it was the last one open when Vic Bergeron was still alive. So it's the last one he personally oversaw. Okay. And they have not renovated it at all. So when you walk in, not only is it like you're going to, Hawaii, it's also like you're going back to like 1975 or something. And it's pretty sweet. Good drinks. The food's all right. But the drinks are, the vibes are immaculate. So
yeah,
that's delightful.
Wow. A Trader Vic's pull on VGBs. I didn't expect it.
Welcome.
But it's a great answer. I love that answer. I went to the Trader Vic's in New York when I was a child. My parents insisted on taking me, and they were very excited. But I was like, "What the fuck is this place?" Yeah. I didn't understand it at all when I was like 7 or whatever.
I've never become one with Victor. But I've been in places that are like Victor's place.
You're kind of in a hotbed of,
Yeah, we've got 1,000,001 freaking tiki bars out here. The number of times I've been like, time to go to a regular bar, and then I walk in and it's a tiki bar. It's a tiki bar in here. What are you talking about? Yeah. It's frequent.
Yeah, it is. That's happened. That used to happen to me in LA too. Yeah, it's definitely true. My Hero Zero asks, this might be for me. I'm guessing I'm the only one that's really poured over the schedule. But any GDQ runs are we looking forward to? Yes, by the time you're listening to this, Summer Games Done Quick might have begun. It will begin on Sunday, the 6th. It's a week of speed runs. It's one of my favorite weeks of the year. It's a big deal. We watch a lot of it in Discord and talk about it. I'm going to start with one of mine. If anyone else has an answer, then great. Quadrilateral Cowboy is being speedrun, which is a Brendan Chung joint. And Brendan Chung also made Skin Deep, or one of the makers of Skin Deep, one of the best games of the year so far. It is a riot. I can't wait to see how they break it. The cool thing about that speedrun is that Brendan Chung is on the couch to talk to them about that. So I am
That's delightful.
Very much looking forward to that. Have y'all had a chance to look at any of these?
They're doing AEW Fight Forever in 35 minutes.
I saw that. That is, you know what? That's a bad game, but I'm looking forward to be watching it speed run.
I think that's going to be delightful.
Just like the story mode, they're doing the whole.
It seems like just the story mode.
Yeah. I'll be very interested to see if there's like skips or like strats. Like, okay, it's like if you go into this corner while Matt Jackson is trying to get into a conversation with you, you'll warp through the level and like it's like I have no idea.
Man, that's a really good block. It's Oblivion, all main quests glitchless, which is only an hour. Fight Forever 30 minutes, and Airport for Aliens currently run by dogs, and then Shaq Fu to end the night. That's on Wednesday the 9th.
I will also shout, and there's also going to be an article that actually pieces some of this stuff out. I'm almost done with it. I'm going to post it this evening. Avowed is on Sunday. So Avowed, 6:20 p.m. That game is, as I was playing through, it was like, speedruns of this are going to be fucking sick because there's like verticality, there's parkour bullshit, and there's also just ways to build your character out that break the game in fascinating ways. I have not watched a speedrun of this game, so I don't know which way to build your character is the most broken, really. So I just can't wait to see what that is all about. So there's a ton, though.
What's the record for Avowed?
They say the any percent is estimated to be about 50 minutes. So I think it's probably somewhere in the 40 range would be my guess. I've not watched them. We're checking.
Avowed. How do you spell it? I got it. Don't worry
about
it, everybody.
You got it? Okay.
36 minutes is the fastest ever time.
Incredible.
Now, here's the thing. That's nuts. The second fastest is 41 minutes. This person found 11. Where did they find 11 minutes?
That's a lot of savings.
That's nuts. Yeah. So
the Michael Phelps of Avowed right there.
Yeah. The Michael Phelps
of
Avowed.
Mike Wave.
Tuesday morning is also a Dread Delusion playthrough, which I think is really fun. And also Majora's Mask and All Masks run. So that is, I think, the longest run of the show. I believe it's 2.5 hours. That's really fun. So yeah, a lot to look at. I think it's going to be a great week. So I'm looking forward to that very much. Soy Socks asks, in the spirit of Endless Mode's name, what game do you have the most stamina for? Like, what's one you'd be interested in doing a figurative couch to 5K training regimen on? I guess just like, what do you not tire of? Garrett, we'll start with you.
Well, this is an old one. I pretty much can play Ms. Pac-Man any place, any time of day, anywhere. That game is unbeatable. But I mean, getting back to the TurboGrafx, I've pretty much kept mine plugged into a TV since 1990. So I pretty regularly pop back into the old games I liked on that thing. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Good answer.
I probably could do Rocket League forever.
Really? Wow. Okay.
I think so.
That's pretty good.
I'm not playing as a choice, but like,
sure.
But if I like, that's my fear of rematch. Also, like rematch seems like it's a game expressly made for me.
I was about to say, I was like, I think we've both actually kind of been avoiding playing that game, but I need
on
to.
Purpose. I'm not playing it actually. Yeah. I think it would be great for me and also horrible for me. So catch me next week, I guess. When I've spent 84 hours in rematch. No, but yeah, I probably like. I could become incredible at Rocket League, I think, if I sat down about it.
Okay. Yeah. Probably NFL 2K5.
Yeah.
It's one of those games that I could probably pick up and play forever. That's probably the game I played the most. So I could probably sit and marathon that thing and also beat everyone at, which is good. Who says it's useless to be good at a 21-year-old football game?
No one said that.
Who said that?
Special year for sports games because
super special.
MVP 05 is generally considered like the best baseball game.
Yeah, that's the last time Madden tried.
It's the last.
It was like it was really
the
cool.
Last good Madden.
It was a good vintage for sports games for sure. All right. Electric Gauntlet asks, is there a video game, theme park, or ride that you wish existed?
Man, just because it's something that is not theoretically impossible, with Nintendo, world existing, they are going to be doing more in time. I don't think they would ever get to a Metroid game, but I think Metroid could make for a really great horror-focused dark ride type thing. Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Banger.
I mean, they would never
own.
Yeah, like they're going to do Pokemon before they do that. They would do Zelda, and then at that point, they probably would just not do any other franchises,
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I think I would be psyched about... Actually, I think I'd be psyched about a Star Fox where 4 of my buds go on like a cool shooty ride, a little bit like the fucking Star Wars shit, but maybe with a little more like barrel rolling stuff.
I see what you're saying. Like the the Millennium Falcon ride.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit like that,
good.
But like a little more acrobatics, maybe you get more, maybe you're encouraged to really inhabit the vibes of each of them. Like you're a little, you're an asshole if you're Falco. That kind of thing.
They probably could make, why they not have Star Tours ride vehicle that can spin inside of itself?
You would need a really big footprint. Yeah. Also, I think a lot of people don't. I mean, that's kind of what Mission Space at Epcot is. I mean, they do like the, it's the, what do you call the thing that spins around, like the whatever, the space thing.
The space thing that you get in the space thing and they test you if you can go to space.
Yeah, they spin you around really fast. They do that at that ride, and that's kind of like that, But
that is kind of like that.
I think, man, it would be so funny if they just said, this is the Safari Zone, and it was just an empty field and there was nothing in it. Just like just a big patch of grass with nothing in it would kind of go crazy to me.
That would be really funny.
I don't know. I'm really disappointed in the Mario Kart ride. I think like the physical stuff of it is really interesting, but like I'm sure Nintendo or Universal Creative is like, damn, if only we waited like 5 more years, then they could have done it. It could have been a trackless ride, and I think that would have been way more interesting.
Yeah.
Because I do think it is a bummer to me.
Yeah.
You had one job make me feel like I'm going fast.
Made me feel like I'm going fast. Yeah. And you failed. Yeah.
Did y'all do all the games like the boss battle with Bowser Jr. and all that?
No. The day we went was the second day it was open.
Yeah.
And it was packed.
It was
just nuts. And then I haven't been the last 3 times I went to Universal Studios Hollywood, I was there for maybe a combined 90 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Because we were just over there.
Yeah.
And then we were like, well, we could go get on the Mummy. And then we got down, we went down, we parked, went down the escalators, we got on the Mummy 3 times, and then we left.
That's one of those rides that's like, it's missing the last third of the ride in California. Yes. So I had only ever ridden it in Orlando, and the first time I rode it there, I'm like, wait, what's going on? Why is it?
Yeah, no, that's it. You get to literally a wall and they say, well, time to go back.
It's so short. It's so crazy. It's so crazy.
It's one of the most insane roller coasters that exists.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
I like it a lot though.
Me too. It's goofy. Blackjack Attack. We got 2 more questions. Blackjack Attack asks, Bev check, if not during recording, what are your favorite drinks that you especially enjoy during the summer?
I've got a great answer for this.
All right.
Yesterday, I made some jicama tea, like super highly concentrated, right? And then we got some San Pellegrino, and then ice lemon. That's it. And then you put the super concentrated jicama fucking liquid in there with the San Pellegrino and the lemon. That's delicious. Summertime cold juice. It's delicious. It was so yummy.
What about you, Garrett?
I mean, I would say probably 90% of what I drink is Diet Coke. So Diet Coke.
Diet Coke. Great
really
answer.
good with rum in it too. But
that's huge.
Also,
that's such a good unlock.
Huge. Good,
a lot
good
of people
unlock.
aren't talking about that one.
Right.
The Diet Cuba Libre. You got to try it.
Absolutely.
Me, I am going to get into when I can actually stand in my kitchen again. I'm going to try to make a bunch of aguas frescas this summer.
Horchata era.
Horchata, yeah. So Jose El Cook is one of my favorite accounts on TikTok, and he's making a ton of aguas frescas. Guy. He's really funny. And all the shit he makes looks fucking awesome. So he made like a strawberry lemonade and a mango agua fresca, and I want to try those. But boozy wise, I love a Paloma anytime, but especially during the summer. I'm a tequila person, so that sounds good.
There's something about like, what's the one? Hold on, let me look up what's in a Sex on the Beach. No, that's not it.
No, that's not it. You just found some pornography, didn't you?
Damn. There was this drink that I had when I went to Mexico in February of 2020. So like right before. And it was, they kept telling me that it was gin, the most grenadine you've ever had in your entire life.
Oof, okay.
Orange juice and pineapple juice.
Okay.
Question mark. And there was maybe a strawberry on it. What's that? Does anyone know what that is?
I don't.
What was the booze in it again?
Gin.
Ooh, I don't know.
I don't think it was very good, but I had a lot of them.
That sounds like someone made something up and just handed it to you confidently.
Gave it to me.
Yeah,
I thought it was good. I think mostly because of the sugar in it. But I tell this story because I was in a warm weather place, but I think I felt really bad because you can't have too much sugar in a drink in the summer. In my brain, if the drink has too much sugar and it's hot outside and it isn't like a sweet tea, then I'm actually losing that fight, and I don't know what that means or why. So I feel like it can't be super sweet. It has to be some other, like a sour or a bitter, like a grapefruit situation. Good.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. We have one final question from Dole Focus. What's the best food truck food you've ever had?
A lot of good poutine food trucks in Montreal.
Ooh, fuck, man, yeah, fuck me up. I would love poutine from a Montreal food truck.
That sounds great.
Super messy really when you got a beard, especially, but you know, pretty good.
Yeah. There was a Cajun food truck in Austin for a little while, that was making some of the best, like incredibly spicy boudin, which is like a type of sausage with rice and stuff. That's one of my favorite things. I miss that a lot. There was another place called the Flying Carpet in Austin, and they had a sandwich called the Big Abdu, which was basically flatbread with like a couple of different meats and French fries and eggplant and some really delicious sauce. But the best was probably the school bus that they hollowed out in Sherman, Texas, the Hondu Mex truck, which I would always take people to get quesadillas with some of their really, really, really hot green salsa. And genuinely, like, I've ruined some people's weekends taking them there because they had like such a bad time on the toilet like the next day.
Yeah,
but like
that's tough.
Honestly, I got inoculated to it really fast and just like kept eating it because it was so fucking good. I miss it every day. I wish it still existed, but it doesn't. So yeah, that's my answer.
I'm trying to think. It's nuts. I don't consider the taco truck, Taco Man, not a food truck to me.
Really interesting.
Here, like, at least in Los Angeles, he does not count as a food truck.
I kind of know what you mean.
I kind of know what you mean. Usually, I'm so off of food trucks.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think. Like, I don't know if I've had. Like, I had ice cream out of a truck. You ever had that?
No, I don't think I have.
There's this ice cream truck called Favas by Ed, and it's just this guy who has an ice cream truck.
Ed's back there opening pints of Haagen-Dazs and putting them in a bowl.
It's soft serve.
Okay.
It's delightful. That's it. It's just really good ice cream. It's not that doesn't count because ice cream come in truck, but
no, I mean, I
don't know.
That's
my answer.
That's a good answer. Thanks for all your questions. We do have a couple on the cutting room floor. Maybe we'll do it. I do have a couple of bonuses planned out, so we might get to those there. But yeah, VGBs.com/join if you want to join the Hive. Ask us a question anytime. We appreciate it. We have had a lot of new signups this week, which is super exciting. So if you're listening to this and didn't know that you can go to there, you can go to the Hive category in our Discord that should be available to you now. And you can ask us any question in the Hive content channel. We should get out of here. We have no other new reviews to read. Once again, if you want to leave us a 5-star review and leave us a written review, I will read it on the show and give you a shout out. So as always, your reviews definitely help us grow the show. If you missed it, I interviewed Joe is Hungry. That's right. The dude that runs Joe is Hungry gave me a 90-minute interview. Absolutely could have talked to him for 4 hours if he wanted. Yeah. And he kind of did want to talk for 4 hours, I think. But that is available to all Hive subscribers now. It was so weird, but it was a good interview and enjoyed meeting him. And we'll have some more bonuses up in the next coming weeks. Garrett, boy, what a blast this was to have you on the show. Yeah, please once again, like plug yourself, plug endless mode. Tell us where to find you.
Yeah, go to endlessmode.com. It's on the screen right there beneath my name, spelled correctly and everything. And so that's where you'll find lots of good stuff every day. I'm on Blue Sky if you want to follow me for whatever reason on social media. And that's about the only one I do at this point. So, yeah.
Good for you. Good for you. Good for all of us. We're all on Blue Sky as well. Nikki, besides your wonderful newsletter, makeyouthink.club, which you can go subscribe to right at this very moment, do you have anything else you want to plug?
Nah, I don't think so.
Okay.
Is that helpful?
Yeah. That's fine.
If you're driving, close your eyes. It's a comedy podcast. John and I do it every week. And Merritt.
Yeah,
it's gimmick month.
It is gimmick month.
Last week's gimmick was PBS week.
You volunteered to control all of gimmick month. Mm-hmm. I just need you to remember that you did that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. I'm excited to continue to go on this gimmick month journey with you. If you're driving, patreon.com/if you're driving, if you want to check that out. For me, listen, we built 50 gliders. If you want to play video games with your feet, we've built 50 of those. They're in a warehouse in Plano, Texas. Pretty cool. We're going to build 50 more of them and actually start shipping them out to people. I almost reflexively said it out loud, which is insane. It's so wild how some people can ask me a question and I could just start just saying the thing and I'm like, but yeah, if you go to feetlegal.com, you can still pre-order one. It'll get sent out late in this batch, but it probably means you'll get it sometime in August if you order it now. Kind of wild that we're finally getting these things out in the world. So yeah, go check that out. Floppyadult.com over on Blue Sky. Oh gosh, this has been a fun one. You will hear from us, Nikki and myself, next week. We're in Dallas, Texas, live for All In Texas. We're going to plan some stuff out and do some fun stuff. Go eat some barbecue, all that good stuff. But until next time, keep on buzzing.